one. Blast off. Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog. One of my favorite people, one of my favorite shows. We got the YouTube diva, the queen of bomb video email. We've got Elise Kephart. And I'm here to tell you, she's been my friend. She's been my protege. She's been all sorts of things for a while now. But before I get started, I'm going to have to do a little housekeeping. I'm going to make this broadcast public, and I'm going to share it to a couple other social sites. So be patient. I'll try to entertain you. Okay, here we go. If I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me understand? 'Cause I've been in love before, and I found that love was more than just holding hands. I'm back. Hope you enjoyed the musical interlude. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Elise Kephart. How you doing, Elise?
I am doing fantastic. We were just having a little pre-show chat before this, so a lot of really positive things, positive changes going on right now. Okay,
tell me, you are as busy as a one-legged person in a butt-kicking contest. I'm telling you, you have been everywhere. I see you all over the internet. I see you doing all these conferences. And I remember when you were that shy little girl back, how many years ago?
It was 8. We just had our 8-year anniversary, Jim.
8 years.
Yeah, almost a decade. That's like 2 high school. That's like junior high through high school. That's like that long of it.
Oh, wow. Okay, from barista to car person to nationally known star in the car business. I have watched you grow. I've watched you develop. I've watched you mature. I've watched your techniques get better. You know, I can't tell you, when I first named you the YouTube diva, you go so far beyond that, the bomb queen. I mean, it's
yeah.
Well, what have you been up to specifically? Tell me your latest projects.
Oh, we didn't discuss this before the show. I have some top secret stuff I don't even think I've told you yet, but I don't want to draw. But I have been incredibly busy. With Bomb, we partnered a couple years ago, and because of the introductory as the YouTube diva 8 years ago in automotive, in a very short period of time, people very easily connected Bomb to myself. People even think it's my company sometimes. And I always like to explain it. Ironically, it's not, but we pair so well because their technology, everything that they do is, if I were to dissect an app in my brain and put it down, that would be it. And so that's grown to almost 1,000, I call them EKX Bomb members. So that's really good.
1,000 people in your Bomb network?
It's wild. So as you can imagine,
dealerships. Wow.
1,000 individuals. So it's about individuals. But the nice thing about this is, for some type of, whether it's technology or training or anything in automotive, a lot of times it's like, hey, 10 grand, let's go. Right. And I know coming from Starbucks through automotive that if your mini is $200, to pay for a lot of things yourself can be you're like, dang, that's my Honda Civic car payment, right? Really? So Bomb is so affordable that I have a lot of individuals as well. Like Mike Davenport's one, right? That they pay for it out of their own pocket versus a dealer or a general manager, paying for a team. So, but it's not powerful, right? That would be like, hey, give me your debit. You're going to give me your debit card. It's 5 times, 6 times the amount of your Netflix subscription, right? But so it's an investment, but it's not just with any investment, it's going to be, are you executing it, right? Are you just subscribing to something, or are you actually executing?
Well, Elise, I personally pioneered video in the car business. I was showing you a digital dealer on a flip camera, You know, I'm talking about 2003, you know, and I was talking about doing video walkarounds and sticking the flip camera in your laptop and emailing it to the customer. And then I discovered you online, and you were doing what I was teaching so much better than I was. I said, whoa.
You want to know something crazy? So I actually was digging up, I have an old private YouTube account from like '03 to like '06, way before the car business. So I used to take my camera around everywhere, like just as a nerdy Asian, right? Way before the car business. And I actually have footage when I got my first car that I ever like leased. It was a Volkswagen Jetta. It was a 2005. And I'm like making this video. I'm not selling cars, right? Selling cars is going to be like 2 years in the future. But I'm like making a video. It's not a walk around video, but it's kind of cool because it's this old footage of me and the Jetta that I just bought, like in my apartment driveway, thinking I'm all boss at 20 years old. So it's kind of crazy to like look at that footage and be like, dang, that was like my first little walk around video. Even before that was like a predicament of what's going to happen in the future.
Oh, it is. And you know, one thing about you, I know when you were with the Honda dealership, that's where I first became aware of you.
Yeah.
In San Luis Obispo. And
yeah.
I was watching you, and you were a super performer at that time. And so many people that are out there trying to teach people how to do it have never done it.
Right.
And more than that, you're still doing it.
Well, to the credit of the car business, like I think about, like the first time that I sat in a sales meeting and how just like there's something about it that's really taught me like to enhance like the hard work that I think has always kind of been wired in my DNA, but just the the motivation, and like if you're the type of person where it's like you always want to be kind of taking it to the next level, and a lot of that is the car business like it didn't introduce me, but it really brought it out of me, as far as when you go from making $11 an hour plus tips to like, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like I could owe money with my draw if I don't sell anything, right? To go from like, you have to have a certain, to be successful, you have to have that right mindset. It would be definitely not on the mindset of self-entitlement, right? Here's your 10th place award trophy. So whatever that is, like that, you can call it, it could be maybe my 4th grade, like wanting to win, on the basketball court, like whatever that, you can call it competitiveness, or I don't know. I've always just had like a drive to want to be better, to want to succeed. But the car business definitely kind of allowed me to, when I took the leap of faith to do this on my own, right? And leave retail and leave 6 figures, taking all of that and it's rooted from the car business. I know, we were just talking about this. I know.
Told you were going to be a star. And you weren't naive. You were shy.
For sure.
You were shy.
It's taken a bit. People ask a lot when I teach now. They go, wow, like you're so confident at this, and this is so natural to you. Like it's not natural to me. And I'm like, pause, bro. Let me just explain here. You're talking to, if you could like see my first videos that were awful, and like if you were to go at that first conference where like I think there's footage. I think there's actual footage of that first conference. And then I even think the second one too. But my mannerisms, I watched the video like that I posted where you had your flip cam and it was the first time where you were videoing me like after the show. And I watched my mannerisms in that, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, how did people even like me?
It was amazing. Oh, I got a confession.
Oh, okay. That's always good.
Terrible stage fright when I first became a public speaker.
Yeah.
I did a speech in Tallahassee in 1977 where I had like 400 people in the audience. It wasn't even a car business speech. It was a get your life together speech. Mm-hmm. And I had 400 people in a big hotel ballroom. And I got out in the podium and I said, folks, my name is Jim Ziegler, and I'll be back in just a minute. And I walked off the stage. And
Oh,
then I got my stuff together and came back. And I mean,
yeah.
and I had been a fairly famous national DJ. I had been used to speaking, but not looking at the people.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and that was you.
Well,
The YouTube diva was
the
talking to the
two
microphone and the camera, but then when you started looking at people,
there you go. I was gonna say, you know, the two kind of align well, except for that one difference on video. You're a crazy person. There's nobody, there's people looking, you're not talking to anybody. You're making a video and you're like for a video email or video text, right? You're making it like to yourself kind of, but yeah, definitely in front of you know, in front of people. You've given me some hacks there, some things to visualize, some ways to, and but every time, and I'm even gonna call the shots now in Atlanta coming up. I already know, like, I'll probably put like 5 minutes before I go on stage. I'm nervous as F. Like the butterflies still always come like every single time, even almost a decade later.
I've
So I don't know.
spoken thousands of times before thousands of people, and I
Right.
still get nervous. And you know, me, I never know what I'm going to talk about. I do not plan a speech. You know, it's amazing. I was in Pennsylvania right after 9/11, 2011. I was a keynote for the Pennsylvania Auto Dealers Convention.
Yeah.
We were in Atlantis in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
There were 400 people in that audience at least. You know, dealers, spouses, Ford factory executives, everybody. And the head of the association said, "Jim, what are you going to talk about?" I said, "I don't know, but it's going to be good." He said, "Well, we're paying you X number of dollars, a pretty stiff amount." He said, "We're paying you that much. You don't know what you're going to talk about?" I said, "No idea." He said, "Well, don't do anything off the wall." I said,
Oh,
"Who do you think you hired?" You know?
right.
That was amazing. Okay, so one thing I know about Elise Kephart, I've watched you through the years, and I got to tell you something. I have learned a lot from you.
You have. Well, this is
Yes, I've
you
learned
didn't you
a lot
didn't
from you.
you didn't talk about this on the pre-show, these compliments.
I'm sorry. Well,
It's all right. You're good.
one thing I learned from you is how you personalize a non-personalized video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got certain little tricks you do that makes that video so personal to the person you sent it to.
Right.
Like you call them by their name. And you act like it's just made for them. Because one of your tricks is like, well, it's pretty early here in the morning.
Well, see, and your bot the even the when you're on video with that, the more you can get kind of just your fluidness down, the more you sound more natural with it. And yeah, you can give me any scenario. Like I could take any scenario in a CRM right now, and I can make either a personal one and then mirror it to a generic one. And the only thing that I would take out is the customer's name. And so we're going to actually be doing that at Battle Plan with real customers so that you can.
What?
Oh yeah. I didn't get
what?
little surprises. You threw a surprise at me. Well, it's not Jim Ziegler approved, but here's the idea behind it is this: real people, right? If a BDC or somebody, you know, the audience at Battle Plan is looking at their CRM every day and they're going through these struggles of, okay, I know about video email, but what do I actually do here? Like if I'm looking at my CRM, right? Kind of like the first original OG Battle Plan where it was like, you just said, show them how you do it. And back then, because it was a a session on here's Windows Movie Maker and how to edit a video. But now it could be something as simple as here's my smartphone, here's my CRM. Okay. Do I have internet? If not, do I have hotspot? If not, do I have a backup hotspot? That's going to be the only thing. But here's my real CRM. Here's what I'm seeing. And here's how I send a personalized video. And if I wanted to build a library, right, of videos, here's how to take that same type of customer and that same type of scenario and build a generic one, right? And so it's almost exactly as you said. You see, I mean, for me, that's the thing though, speed, right? When you get it down, it doesn't take that much longer to do a personal one every single time. It's super, super fast if you get it down. But
people have to learn.
Right.
And one thing people say about me, and one of the things I do is when I talk to somebody, I always imagine I'm a little puppy. You ever see a little puppy that is so excited it's cutting circles and it's going to pee any minute?
Yeah. Yeah.
Elise, how are you doing? That's good to see you. I mean, I get that excitement in my voice. Like, I am so excited to be talking to you. And
right.
People don't get that excitement in their voice. I see salespeople walk out on the parking lot. Welcome to the dealership.
Right.
They might as well say, eat shit and die.
Well, when you have the structure down, and this is something that I've kind of had some fun with, whether it's video or whether it's like the phone, once you understand like the psychology and once you understand the structure of it, you can have a lot of fun with it. You can put some humor in there because you're less thinking about like exactly what I got to say. And you can use that one thing, which is your personality and and like the way that you sound and project. And like, that's always infectious, right? That's what I always like to say. If you're saying, you could say the perfect thing, but the way that you say it, just because you're just saying it,
yeah,
you might as well just not say it, right? Just don't because it has almost a deflect.
When I taught Dale Carnegie courses,
yeah,
in the early 70s, before I got in the car business, when I was still selling radio advertising was my day job. Mm-hmm. One night a week, I would teach Carnegie, part-time job. Every Tuesday night, drive across town, teach a Carnegie class, 14-week Carnegie course. And one thing I learned in Carnegie that I still use today that you use is I never open up with what they expect me to say. Carnegie always said, open up every new conversation with a startling statement. Something that startles the people, something they weren't expecting to hear.
Did you, little side note, I don't know if I made a bunch of phone calls live on a private webinar, but it was public. It was, if you registered, it was free. And I was on the phone so much and I was drinking water, right? Because I was going pretty much not like 10 hours straight with some breaks. And customer finally picked up on one and I actually spilt water on myself. And so I opened up the call and I said, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I just spilled water on myself. And it was kind of a humorous thing. And I got all the appointments on that call except for one, but then I was like, oh, that call went really well. And then like all the calls after that, I just started, even if I didn't spill water on myself when the customer picked up, just so it would, that same psychology of instead of like, hi, is Jim there? I would go, hi, is Jim there? I apologize. I just spilled water on myself. Probably depends on who this is, right? And they're like, what? Like, it's because it worked. It happened the first time. And then I was like, oh, I've never said that before. But that customer like laughed at it and it started off the call really, really good. So I think I'm just going to keep saying it.
Laughing. Like, I call a lot of car dealers and
yeah. You're the one-man BDC.
I'm the one-man BDC, 100 calls a day. And I always get the receptionist or the administrative assistant to the dealer that, can I tell him what this is about? Can I tell her what it's about? And I'll say, I have his results back from the free clinic.
Oh, man.
I always get through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I should say this publicly, but I will. I got told by a dealer that I was following up too much. Not by a dealer, by the director of like a department. Yeah. Yeah.
You were following up too much.
Yeah, my follow-up was unprofessional.
I get that. You're following up too much. Well, excuse me. Don't you wish your employees would do this?
Well, then I was like, I don't think we're going to be a good fit. Like, I don't think this is, even if you paid me money, this is not going to be a good fit because that's like the core part of if you're in sales or BDC, not that you want to be a pest. You got to find some way so that the person on the other end actually kind of wants to call you back, right?
Will they buy or die?
But you got to get that connection. Like
Yeah.
you got to I was reading, so I got to read this challenge that I'm doing. I have to read 10 pages of a new book. So I'm reading this Rachel Hollis. She's kind of like I don't know if you know who she is, but she wrote the book Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing.
That's probably why I haven't read it.
Yeah, that's probably why I haven't read it. But I've followed some of her stuff. I didn't read the first book, and I got the second book, and she talks about, you know, the way if for me, for example, if I were to get a phone call right now, like from somebody that I knew and said, okay, like Elise, we got you in, got me in where? We got you in to meet Justin Timberlake tomorrow at 9:00, but you have to be here. Like you have to be, it's at this time. I'm going to drop everything that I'm doing, right? That urgency. And I'm not going to reschedule that Justin Timberlake appointment, right? Like I'm going to make it priority. And so whatever that, urgency.
You have had the hots for Justin Timberlake ever since I've known you.
I know, that's my thing. Like it's my jam. but that urgency, right? You got to have that urgency of making it a priority. When you're in sales, or like when you need to get somebody on the phone or get somebody's attention or create value so that they actually call you back. There's so many things that I think people just go into like making calls and doing this and doing that because it's part of the checklist. But it's really important to understand, like, well, why are you doing that? Like, are you just doing it? Are you just doing it to do busy work? Because that's not, or like, are you doing the right things to actually get results? Right. A lot with video, a lot of people, I got to make a video of and do this. And they're just kind of winging it. And not to say that won't get a little bit of a lift. But I mean, it's safe to say I've been doing video, email specific and automotive for about a decade now. So there's a lot of things like when we first met that I would never teach now. Why? Because I failed at it. Right. But guess what? I already failed at it, or it didn't work. It didn't get as good a result as doing a video like this. Right. And then the people that I teach that to, they don't have to spend all the hours and the time in the last decade of trial and error that I'm constantly doing with my craft. Right.
Look at us right now, sitting in fairly professional studios. We got professional equipment. I mean, we've evolved so far beyond flip camera.
Yeah, I think since Facebook Live, I think I had like my kitchen and one, and then I was like in a small, I've done this in break rooms at dealers, I think too, but yeah, this place I moved into, there's a mirror though behind me that I don't know if I like that there.
Probably not. I'd get rid of that somehow or do something with it. Yeah. Did you see Bobby Heron and I the other day when we did the broadcast?
I was on a bomb call when that, so I have not, but I did share it and love it.
She was in a Chinese restaurant, and she said, "There's nobody here. It's quiet. I'm in a dealership, so I've gone to this Chinese restaurant. I have Wi-Fi, so there was only 2 workers in the restaurant." And she said, "Oh, they're not going to bother us." And I knew it was them in the background noise because I don't speak Chinese, and I could hear it.
Right.
So Bobby walked outside and did the broadcast in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I mean, you guys are so innovative. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Now you go into dealerships and you actually work in the BDCs.
Oh yeah. When I first started doing my own training, it was kind of the traditional baseline of what I was taught how you do training, which is like, it's a lot of training rooms and like CRMs up and like taking notes and like a lot of like just training, right? In a classroom style, we'll call it. So I've learned to sort of fine tune, things that people can execute most with and like relate to most with. So I still do the classroom training, but the majority of it is I'm actually going to be with your team members, whether it's in smaller groups or one-on-ones. And you know what we're doing? Everything that we just had are as much as your brain can absorb in a classroom session, which is, we'll say 4 to 8 hours, split sessions, right? We're putting that to the fire, and we're going to make the calls, right? And we're going to do the videos and get the routine down, right? Like get the consistency down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's allowed me though to sharpen my like to have more fun with video because I do it. I do it like it's like if you had to work out every day and then over here like do the phone every day and then it's the same thing. And then for my business, I'm selling a different product or I'm connecting with a different audience, dealers. You know, is my audience versus a consumer that wants to, you know, get a 190 Honda
What I
Civic
love
payment.
about watching you is when you go in a dealership and you sit there with a headset on and you get on the phone and you talk to their customers, you set appointments, you close deals. I mean, you're doing that every week of your life. I mean, you're still doing it.
Active.
For 30 years, I traveled 200 days a year. I was in 3 dealerships a week, many, many times.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was charging $10,000 a day. I was not cheap. You know, when I was going in dealerships, 10 grand a day, 10 years, 15 years ago. You know, so, I mean, if you want a dog in your dealership, I don't fly in the back of no planes, first class and 10,000 a day.
Bobby and I want to get a jet. That's what we were thinking.
Oh, Bobby, you need a jet. Yeah. You know,
I can't tell you how many like, you know, like flight changes and like flight adjustments and like we thought we booked it. I feel like there's like a good thousands of dollars, like a good chunk of change in like just doing that. And then so you miss the 24 hours to cancel it or readjust it. Just too much of a headache to do so many flight adjustments that we've had to do. So
we're in the audience, by the way.
I was looking at that. Yeah. I was looking
Bill
at that.
Schomburg, Dan Wick. I love Dan Wick. Velko Tushev is there. Bill Schomburg, Bruce Hartz. Lisa's in the audience. Lisa Copeland.
Oh, yeah,
She's with Shaka Dyson today. That's dangerous. Okay, let's see who else. Robert May, Angus Fox. Angus Fox is really incredible. You know Angus?
I do not know Angus, no.
Angus works with Wikimotive. My friend Tim Martell.
Okay.
And, you know, Tim is certifiably crazy. Tim is going to be at Battle Plan. I'm going to put him in a straitjacket and gag him. Tim is one of my better friends. He is a wild man. Love. Craig Locker's in the audience. Hey, Clayton Blevins is in the audience. Clayton,
Jennifer Briggs, I saw.
Yeah, Jennifer, I saw her. David, yeah, we got a pretty good audience building up. So when I see you working in these dealerships, and I reminisce about how many flights I've been on, and you know, I still got 5 million miles with Delta. Yeah. You know, and I haven't flown in 6 months. I basically cut out flying. I'm limiting the number of conferences I'm going to. You know, I'm doing a lot of video work now. You know, just David Ville and I've got some stuff we're doing, and I've got my entire library on his auto dealer network. So tell me at Battle Plan, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
Yeah. You going to surprise us, or you got...
Well, isn't that the best? No, that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be I have 45 minutes total. And so I always like to, you know, when I first started getting into this, I found myself feeling like I was being repetitive. Right. And then I kind of went through this little lack of confidence, gaining weight, and like wasn't really 100% there. And since I've kind of built up some confidence and been doing this more consistently and almost studying it, I don't like to do the same thing. And you know, meaning if I've talked about video email in the past, which with Battle Plan, there's been a majority of probably what I've spoken about, you know, mostly about video email, and you've seen the transformations of it over the years. But I want it less to be on theory and process that I could teach. And I want to do it with real CRMs, real customer databases. And that way you can see it done in a real scenario.
You are going to go live?
I'm going to go live. See my... And now... You're
going to do it so the audiences, the people in the audience?
I'm going to pick people that have a CRM that they can log into. Yeah. And I'm going to
You're going to actually perform at Internet Battle Plan with people in the audience's CRM and show that, wow, what are you going to do with this?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some props, right? And it's going to be like a Ford logo, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, like, and so what I'm going to mirror it when I do my video email on the back part of the stage is like, I'm at that dealership. Right. So then we're going to log into the CRM. We're going to see a real customer. This isn't going to be like some Justin Timberlake customer that we're going to reenact. This is going to be a real customer. Okay. We'll have a phone number that I'll like put in the video and put in the email for them.
Call the people?
If you want me to, but I want them to just be on video. I'll call them first if you want me to. I have no problem doing that. But the idea was, how do I send a video email to this customer, assumingly that they don't pick up their phone? Because I went through a 9-hour marathon. I made 261 dials, Jim. 45 people picked up. About
45 people picked up. How many dials?
261.
Yeah,
but out of
a lot of people still hide from us, don't they?
Oh, but I was going hard. It was like, I mean, 261 dials over 9 hours. Like,
I couldn't understand
the math on that.
Why Mr. Meoff didn't call me back.
So but 45 pickups. And then out of those 45 pickups, a lot of people hung up on me, said, take me off your list, which we're going to abide by. Right. And then they bought elsewhere, which those are more future relationships, not the one thing that I want now, which is the appointment. So then out of all those 45 people that picked up, 18 people were remaining. You want to know how many appointments do you think I set out of 18 remaining, like 18 conversations?
3.
17, baby. Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a big number. I wanted to go
17. And I went 3. I struggled with what everybody 18, on this webinar.
You boiled it down to 18 and made 17 appointments.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it was done in front of anybody that wanted to. Why did I fail? Because the guys, I couldn't, this is the one objection that just drives me bonkers. It's when, he basically said that he was with his family in Las Vegas for like 2 more weeks before school started. Now I'm not going to I would rather just not preach. Don't send an appointment 2 weeks from now. That's a week, right? Who's going to show up who's going to remember a 2-week appointment? It's going to be more of a circle back. I'll follow up with you when you're back from Vegas, but I don't want to preach. Hey, yes, just to get an appointment, schedule it out for 2 weeks because come on, right? So I folded my cards on that one, but everybody else, whether it was distance, whether it was price, whether it was distance and price, whether it was like anything and everything, especially there was this one customer that I went almost 4 hours of like all hangups or no pickups, 4 hours, total dry run, right? Getting like really, I got to keep my vibe going, but you're going 4 hours of dialing hangups. And this is what people deal with every day, right? If someone is everybody watching this, if they're in a BDC or internet sales, you go through this like, these dry runs. So the first person that picked up after like almost 4 hours, I forgot her name. Oh, I was holding on to that one. That one's like my first days in the car business in heels and 102 degrees San Diego weather at Heller Ford Hyundai, right? Where you don't talk to an up customer for 3 hours and you, gosh golly, better bet yourself when somebody pulls into that driveway and you're up and that's the first person that you talk to for like the whole entire day standing out in that heat, you're going to put on your best game, right?
To this day, DJ Heller is one of my favorite people in the car business.
I just saw him this year. It was amazing because he invited me to the 20 group in Carlsbad. Yeah. So
I am so appreciative of my friendship with DJ Heller because, I consulted that dealership 25 years ago.
Yeah. You told me that. And it's kind of, a lot of people connect me with the Honda because that was 5 years of my time in retail. But my first 2 years before internet was on the front line at DJ's store. So that was my first store out of Starbucks. So it imagine that, like going from Starbucks where it's all females and majority females or a lot of, not a lot of guys that work there. And then go into the car business where they're throwing money around in a sales meeting. And the first bonus for that weekend was a trip to Mexico. So then I remember telling my ex at the time, like, oh, we won this contest. I'm going to go to Mexico with like 6 other dudes, like for this day. And we're going to drink tequila papas and beers and play volleyball. that conversation went really well.
That conversation
I'm the only
well.
female and I'm the only female in the car business, right? And we see that even still, like there's not. I'd always Bobby, Jennifer, and I, we talk about this all the time. There's so much like this for me as if like. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And the car business wasn't supposed to be a thing that like ended up being a thing. And for females, you know, it's just, I'm still surprised that there's not a ton of, you know, we'll call it women in automotive.
I have always promoted women in this business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look how many women are speaking at Battle Plan.
Yeah. Line them up.
A really super performer a couple of weeks ago, Amelia Sapowski. Works at Starling Chevrolet down in Florida.
Okay.
Real super. I'm starting to, you know, I'm more aware when I meet a woman super performer, you know, and I'm always willing to help. I'm willing to do whatever I can to advance their careers. And, you know, it's just, you're right. And what would you say the reason is why there aren't more women super performers in the car business? What is it? You know, and you know, besides the fact men are pigs and all that shit, but what else?
Oh well, you gotta. I mean, I'm surprised I made it. Dang, you saw me. I mean, you saw me 8 years ago, and I was in the car business at that point for a handful of years. But you have to have really thick skin because you deal with a lot of just rejection, and rejection, whether you're male or female or whomever, is something that is difficult to deal with, right? Like constant rejection, and that's definitely something immediately in the car business. So maybe it's something, you know, maybe it's with that. It's obviously like you can't make excuses, period. It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was kind of like, well, I'm just going to take the 3 jobs that I'm working now, like my paper route, my Starbucks, and my waiting tables, and I'm just going to be at the dealership all that, like as much as I could be at the dealership at it, and that's kind of, so it didn't, for me and my, what I was doing at the time, the 3 jobs, like it didn't feel, it didn't feel like a ton of different hours. But then what's kind of ironic is I think people have this perception of like, oh, once you move to the dark side, once you move to the consultant or vendor, you start your own, you work from home, right? That's such the lifestyle that it's like less hours and no.
So many salespeople tell me, I'm going to be where you are. No, you're not. You're never going to be where I'm at because you're not willing to pay the price to be me.
Right. Oh, well, it comes down to, you know, I always like to, when I'm like in moments of like, it comes down to you're either committed to what you're doing or you're interested in it. And while they may seem very similar, commitment means even when it's not convenient, even when you're kicking internally at yourself, screaming internally because you don't want to do something, or it's you have to put in the work, even when you don't want to, you want to go Netflix and chill, right? Like but you have to put in so much, like to, you know, at least that's been my biggest thing. You know, the transformation from even working a ton in retail. I mean, I think we can be honest, retail is usually a bell-to-bell scenario. I mean, San Luis Obispo here, they close at 7:00. So
you know my wife, Debbie.
Yeah, she's from, you said, yeah.
Yeah, she was an up.
Yeah.
I mean, she came and bought a car from me because working the hours we worked, there was no other place to meet women. Just the only rule we had at the dealership said, sell the car, book the deal first.
and then you made the car payment, right?
I laid her away and made all the payments. Yes, I did. That was 35 years ago or 37 years ago. We dated for 2 years. We dated for 2 years because her parents wouldn't let her marry a car salesman. And so she said, well, they're going to have a problem with that. And I said, well, what if I was a manager?
You know, isn't that interesting? I have always found it interesting when you say, what do you do? I'm a car salesperson or I sell cars. It's just like, oh, like, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this stereotype that some people like don't even, you know, when you're looking at, sometimes I get friend requests and I'm like creeping on their profile. Who is this? And I don't see where they work. Why would you not put where you work? Like if you're, you know, I don't know if you're a creeper, if you're an automotive, if I maybe this is just personal opinion, you can back me up, but if I'm selling cars or something that's branded to like a dealership, I probably would want to like put where I work, and I wouldn't want to be ashamed of, oh, I sell cars or I work at a car dealership.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're in the wrong business, and you can go ahead and get on out. Like, you need to be. It's always been a thing for me where I wanted to break the stereotype. I always like to go against the grain, do things that are different. Even with this battle plan, do something different. Even at the last battle plan, like people came up to me at the last one, and they said, "Man, I had goosebumps after that. That was crazy." So this
you
is
motivate people, you inspire people. That, and I always knew you would. And right right now, your career is at a point where it's going to go bonkers. You know, I made millions in the car business, Debbie and I.
Yeah.
You know, people see that level. You know, I haven't made Grant Cardone money, but I'm way up there. You know, I can write a pretty substantial check. You know, and people see the money we're making, but they're not willing to pay the price. Now, you know, to travel 250, 200 days a year away from your family for all those years, and to be climbing in and out of airplanes and sleeping in hotels. I'd wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, where am I? Am I late?" You know?
Well, if I can throw this one on there, and Bobby and I and Jennifer have talked about this too, as a woman in automotive, it's that, but it's almost like more of an intense thing because as a female, as a mother of two, it's almost like this, like a guy can travel a lot for work, right? But if a mother does it, then it's like, oh, like you're why would you, how could you leave your kids? Like, why would you do that kind of thing?
Well, I think that's probably a reason why there aren't more women super performers in the car business, because so many women do have that responsibility that a man does not have of being the mommy.
Right. Well, I have a nanny, if that counts. I have an amazing nanny. She's making me custom meals now to like help with my dad. Yeah, she's amazing. I love her. She like can be, I mean, just, it's all the things that with the girls that she helps me with just like all the stuff, all the real life stuff, like the laundry, the cleaning, the errands, the P.O. box, the everything that normally got to drive around or do this for or do that for. That's kind of all taken care of. You know, she helps me out a ton. So that was something that, and then people might say, oh, well, you can't do that off of this type of, if I'm selling cars and I'm only making $100 commission, I can't have a full-time nanny. Well, then what do you got to do to level up? Right? Do the math. It's always been do the math for me. If I'm doing this, if I want to make this, how do I get there? If I want to, and it shouldn't be just about money, but for me, money and financials is more about the freedom and the experiences, right? Definitely Lily now is at an age, she hasn't been to one of your battle plans since she was 3 months, but she's at an age now where she's, Jalen not quite yet, but she's at an age where to travel with her, to have her part, bring her as part of these experiences. Oh yeah.
So the first time Lily attended one of my battle plans was in New Jersey when she was a bulge.
Yeah, you know what? I bought her a bunch of stuff. We bought her, went school shopping with her. She picked out all the coolest stuff, right? And at Target alone, it was like $600, and she's like, "Oh, that's not bad." Like,
that's not bad.
Yeah. That's not bad. And I'm like, okay, that's so like profound for 6 years old, but just those type of experiences right now, it's one of those, I don't know, it's probably a quote somewhere where it's like, you work hard now so that you can, it's not just about the money, but the experiences. Like I'm looking forward to, doing what I do and being able to, have my family be part of it too. Like, as they get older and everything like that. And then just everywhere I go, I was in Michigan quite a bit this year, and the experiences there and everything like that have been amazing. So
I've been to 49 states. How many have you been to?
Oh, I haven't counted. But I can tell you the most common ones: Michigan, Arizona, Texas, and then Florida, California.
I used to have a pin map on the wall, and there were certain cities like Dallas that I had that many pins on the pin map. I mean, just that big. And there were cities like New Orleans and certain places. And I have desk deals, caught ups, and done F&I in every state except Alaska. For 5 years, I consulted the Cutter Group in Hawaii, and I was making a 5-day trip to Hawaii once a month.
Oh man, Hawaii is good. It's so funny though, because you wake up at like 2 a.m. feeling like amazing, and you're like, it's only 2 a.m. The flight, the time difference always throws me way off.
You adjust to it. By the time you adjust to it, you're going home.
Right.
And the other part of that was they were at the time they were selling 60% of all the cars sold on the islands. They had every franchise in the world, and they didn't have a problem with paying me my fee, which was pretty high for 5 days.
Of course.
But their controller, whose name was Herman Jones, had a big problem with paying my first class airfare from Atlanta to Honolulu. It was like $6,000.
Wow.
So I lost that contract, not because my fee was too high and I did great performance, but I lost that contract because of the airfare. Because I wouldn't budge on the first class.
Well, I have it down to a science now. Now that this tiny little airport here in San Luis Obispo expands to like more than just 2 connecting cities. You know, it goes to Dallas, Fort Worth now, and Seattle, and Las Vegas, and
really,
you know, Denver. Yeah, so it connects to a lot more places now, which makes flights better. Like just travel. You still have to plan out like a whole day of travel. Is the way I look at it, right? Like if you got to be, I'm going to be in store in Mesa on Monday. That's just a direct flight. Luckily, it's just
Mesa, Arizona. Okay,
and Mesa, Arizona. Yeah, it's an independent. They were actually the dealer. His name's Stuart. He was at the Battle Plan last in March, and when I made that call, he actually came up to me after the show, and he said, "I'm missing the next speaker to come up and talk to you." And I'm going to reach out to you and hire you. I'm going to go back. And then he wanted to go, but
I'm getting more and more independent dealers.
Yeah.
That are running their dealerships like new car franchises. We got Clayton Blivens and Clayton is a dear friend of mine. He's a lot smarter than he looks. And anyway, he's an independent dealer. A lot of independent dealers are coming aboard, and they're doing one of my friends, Jeff Schreier, who is in Omaha, has a huge indoor used car showroom. And I'm getting a lot more of huge independent dealers that are really breaking into where the retail dealers used to be. They're getting conventional finance sources. They've got service departments. I'm seeing a lot of independent dealers breaking out of the dirt lot, buy here, pay here mode, which, and that image that they're just strictly on the low end.
My first store that I did training at ever was you probably know him, Scott Montgomery, Epic Auto Sales, Cypress, Texas.
Montgomery is a dear friend of mine. Did you meet him at Battle Plan? Did you meet him elsewhere?
Well, I did training with him, so he was like the first person that hired me out of retail, and I remember going there for the first time, and they were in a trailer. That's my first impression. That's my first time as a trainer, right? Like showing up, and it's like a trailer. Like independent lot, right?
They are an independent lot.
But now you see them, and they
have grown.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they were a client just about the time that you started doing Battle Plan. I wouldn't be surprised if you two didn't hook up as a result of something that you met at my event. Or he heard.
Yeah, Scott and I have been connected since pretty much, 2014. So what is that? 5. He hired me in 2014 out of retail. So yeah, that's 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, because he was attending all the Battle Plans at the time.
Yeah,
amazing.
And they have cute Asian babies.
Him and Into our careers, and let's get back to BDC a little bit, because we got some really good people in this audience. Randy Tucker said, "What a great idea to go live at Battle Plan. I don't think anything could be more effective. I love that." So, we get some good comments on the sidebar, just people talking about what they're. Jennifer Briggs shot a bunch of flames at you. So anyway, Internet Battle Plan. Let's talk a little business on Battle Plan. Battle Plan is the 9th and 10th September, only a couple weeks away. Now, the hotel discount expires on the 25th. So if you're going to attend Battle Plan, or if you already booked, a lot of people that booked haven't bought their hotel rooms yet. Do not cry to me if you don't get the discount. So the website is internetbattleplan.com, www.internetbattleplan.com. So go to the website. Somebody on the sidebar, Briggs or somebody, please put that up there, Lisa. www.internetbattleplan.com. 20 speakers. We've got a lot of people that are friends of yours. Bobby Heron, the BDC diva. I love Bobby Heron. Lisa Copeland. Cars Her Way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm excited.
Carrie Reese Wise, True Car. Look at all the women on this program, man. We've got at least 40% of the speakers are women. So, and SEO. If you need SEO, we got it. We got phone skills. Your phone skills. Anthony Algona's phone skills. We got phone skills, appointment setting. We've got website conversion, data mining. There's another. Have you met MC Watson?
I have not. No.
MC Watson. Watch the video I did with her. She's one of the. She's going to be one of your next confidants in the rat pack of women you hang with. Frank Sinatra had the rat pack in Vegas. Now you've already performed that little female mafia of yours. She
Triple threat.
She can be part of the part of those equal rights Nazis that you belong to. MC Watson with Automotive Mastermind. She's going to talk about data mining, equity mining, and she is sharp as a tack. I mean,
so if here's another thing too, like with the videos that I'm going to be doing live, if somebody has one of, like we can do a video for that too. Like people think it's all about internet processes is only the thing that you can do video for. No, if you're trying to get, it's the same concept. If you're trying to get in touch with somebody who has a 2017 Tahoe, that payment to payment they can get like something similar for about the same payment. Ideally, you still want to get engagement from that person, right? So you have to, if they're not picking up their phone, which that doesn't change, then you can make the video to get them to pick up their phone. And what do I say in that video? How do I do it? Right? So a lot of that is sometimes just never taught and people just sort of wing it. One of the things sometimes that I see is like they give their whole pitch in a video. I don't want that. It's not because it's not live. When somebody gives a pitch, if the person watching that video has objections to it, then they just like exit out of the video and you're kind of done. I want that video to actually get engagement, to get me a live call, right? The live call is where I'm going to talk to 18 people and I'm going to set 17 appointments, right?
When you can talk to 18 people and set 17 appointments and back that up.
Oh, it was in front of everybody. Everybody saw it. It was over 9 hours. Yeah. But it was, part of my language, balls to the wall. Like, no, but what's kind of crazy, that what's gotten me that confidence, is like, I always refer to sharpening your axe. If they give you 4 hours to chop a tree, you're sharpening your axe for 3 of them. Right.
You sharpen the axe. That's right out of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
I saw it on, the Instagram memes, like, and all that stuff. I just like sometimes occasionally like pop on and scroll.
That's a Stephen Covey thing out of 7 Habits. Sharpen the axe. It's amazing. I've got Kevin O'Brien attending in that battle plan, not Patrick O'Brien, Kevin O'Brien.
Oh, okay.
And kind of interesting is that Kevin was a Pat Ryan rep in the 80s when I was doing F&I. And
Really?
he came in the F&I office when I was with Troncalli Motors in Atlanta, in Decatur.
Hmm.
And he said, these numbers can't be real. These numbers cannot be real. Nobody does these numbers. That was just before I set the world record,
Yeah.
in F&I. And I told Kevin here a couple of weeks ago, I said, I am so glad you're coming to Battle Plane. You're one of my last living witnesses. All my witnesses are dying off.
Yeah. No, it's I might do something, Anthony Santalago. I don't know his last name. Is he
Santangelo.
Santangelo? Yeah, I think he's with Craig. He said he wanted to do like a thing over the internet, like a battle of some type, or like a phone to phone thing. I just honestly haven't had the time. I've been trying to go all in with like drinking a gallon of water and like this 75 hard challenge that I was telling you about, and like smoking cigarettes, which PS, we're in the car business. The irony about smoking the cigarettes is like the car business is what got me into smoking the cigarettes. Isn't that funny? Like, so I've just been going through just so many. You asked in the beginning, like, wait, what are you up to? It's just been a whole kind of just like this whole chapter, like this, if it was like, boom.
I'm so proud of you quitting smoking.
I'm excited. Like it's day 18 today. But like I was saying on the pre-show when we were talking, I've been so focused on so many other things that the cravings haven't even hit. And this is like cold turkey. The cravings
for 20 years. I smoked from 1965 to 1986.
I mean, I'm about 12, so 07 to now. Yeah.
I smoked 2.5 packs a day of long Winstons, nasty cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I actually had what got me really keyed in on smoking besides marrying Debbie. Debbie and I got married in 84.
Okay.
And I was smoking at that. I had a video they filmed of me, and I was actually in the video smoking on the podium in front of the class.
Oh man.
I mean, I saw that on the video. I said, how unattractive. And when I did F&I in the car business, I would smoke while I was delivering the car with a customer sitting right there. They'd smoke with me. I mean, it was accepted. We'd smoke in supermarkets.
Right.
I mean, smoking was not the. But today,
I would smoke after the gym. Because I've been working out now for 2 years, but I just like, other than being pregnant, like so yeah, it just gets. I mean, here's what I think when it comes to quitting, like everybody's gonna have their own, like you'll call it the tipping point or their own commitment point, right?
Well, you're a leper when you smoke today. You are a pariah. People ostracize you. And I know for a fact, I've seen you do it. I've seen you go sneak and hide that you were smoking. You didn't want people to see it.
I know.
I mean, because you're hiding it, because you're a pariah, you're a leper. And my brother-in-law, Deb's sister's husband, who is a surgeon, was the final straw that made me stop smoking. He said something to me. He said, everybody that smokes dies because they smoke. He said, unless you get hit by a car and have an accident, smoking is going to be the reason you die.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. And then 2 years later, I found out he personally was a closet smoker.
See what happens. Yeah. Wow.
But he inspired me to quit. So you've stopped smoking. You're traveling.
Yep.
You're traveling an insane
amount
of time.
I did a ton of travel. Yeah, from January to June was like, I called it my tour. It was a very intense. Almost. I mean, I was only home 23 days between January and June. So, but since then, there's a reason for everything, and now that I put in the hard work, and I'm able to balance some, entrepreneur, scaling things and so forth. I'm committing to being with my girls 2 weeks.
Well,
you're
making the money you deserve to make now too. Isn't that the truth?
Right.
I mean, you have to pay the due. Debbie and I were fortunate.
Yeah.
I left the car business in 86.
Yeah.
And within 3 months, I had $1 million contract with Ford Motor Company.
There you go.
We made $1 million our first year. I had 3 different things. I was doing all the videos, the training videos. I was doing F&I schools for Ford, and I was doing Ford ESP service contract videos that they were giving to all the dealerships. And I was traveling around consulting the Ford Minority Program, the African American Ford dealers. They made a commitment to have so many, and I got that deal where I was actually helping install and train the African American dealers, and a lot of them are still friends of mine, very successful today. So yeah, you've got to that point now, haven't you?
I mean, it's there's as much as crazy as some very intense moments that I've had, like branching out on my own, and some struggles and pain points and so forth. On the opposite end, I am fully confident that your hardest moments blossom into your best moments, right? If you can get through it. So it's like, get through it. It's incredibly like, I couldn't even put it into words, some of the stuff where it's like, if 8 years ago you would have been like, hey, Elise, you want to stop selling Hondas and you want to go do your own thing. You think that's okay. Well, just so you know, here's all the stuff that's going to unfold over the course of 8 years. Like, you wouldn't have been able to tell me that, like, and I would have believed you. I guess it's one of those things, but
I told you that.
You did, but it takes intense commitment, because
you didn't believe until it started to happen.
So I guess, every when I wake up, it's really it's always kind of a blessing where my girls are with me. They're still, like, I've been waking up really, and so they're with me, and the ability that I have a lot more control of my schedule now.
Your girls are a trip.
Oh, they're amazing. They're amazing.
Lily has got such an attitude.
That's not bad. $600 at Target. Like, that's not bad.
Let me ask you something really important to this audience. How do they get in touch with you? Can they call you on the phone, or what do they do?
I'll pull the Jim Ziegler. I'll give you my personal cell phone right now. But if I do not pick up your phone, what is it? It's area code 805.
Got it.
441 3398.
Is that it?
That's it. But I'll be honest, my voicemail I purposely typically keep full because I don't like voicemail. So texting is that way I know you're legit, right? You just got a call before this thing where it wasn't a legit person. So I get calls like that all the time, where sometimes it's not like, it's not it's a spammer call or whatever. So.
Okay, well, let's be sure we get this right. Is that it?
805-441-3398. That's right.
Text Elise. So they can reach you by text, or that you might pick up, but
or if they're on here. I mean, I'm probably tagged. I think I'm at a friends limit, but if you send me a direct message on Facebook, I can have somebody look at it. My DM, but text is best, honestly. My DMs are so just wild right now that it's hard to keep up.
Now, are you doing anything with consumers with text?
Consumers with text, what do you mean?
Well,
like
PDC.
Oh yeah. So a lot of CRMs have texting software built in, or some dealers use like external texting software with their opt-ins and everything like that. So just first one that comes to mind, Socket Talk, right? With Dealer Socket, they have their own, meaning customer opts in, and you can text them. So with these videos, right from, and I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm not going to give all my secrets away, but yes, you can make a video on your smartphone, but text it through Socket Talk. Yeah. And then what's kind of crazy is like, okay, I sent it to them. Did they watch it? Because I sent it over text. You're going to know if they watched it, even if you send it over text. You're going to know did they watch it like did they creep on it the whole minute that you made the video, or did they bounce out after 3 seconds? Right. So all those tracking things come into play, and you can do it all through your CRM. So if the CRM, when we go live, if it has a texting software, we'll be able to do that. Otherwise, some people use like Google Voice or something similar to that. And we can show how that works as well. But
Sean Hayes just showed up.
Oh yeah. Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Hello, guys. Jennifer Briggs, hashtag female mafia, hashtag gangsta. Yeah, you girls are taking over. I know you got a secret plot. You probably wear robes and dance around a bonfire at Stonehenge.
People ask us that, if I can just say, like, sometimes like all of us will be dark on social media for like, and they know that we're all together and they're like, what is happening? Like they ask us, they see us like in person at a conference. They're like, what are you girls up to? Like, and it's like, it's fun. It's humorous sometimes.
Did you see the video I made for you? Not the video, the thing I made for you with the three of you. Briggs, you, and
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That was funny. I follow you guys. I am so proud of our friendship, and we've had a great conversation. I don't know what we achieved as far as fathering their business, but they got a chance to know you and I a little bit better. And I'm speaking at Internet Battle Planet. I'm going to speak about the shape of things to come. I have been the keynote speaker at 98 state dealer conventions. And, there's only 50 of them. So I've done Texas 3 or 4 times, Massachusetts 3 or 4 times, New York I've done 4 or 5 times. I've 98 state dealer conventions in my and I've done 4 AICPA conventions, which is the automotive controllers and such. That's a hell of a convention. And my speech has always been titled "The Shape of Things to Come." I just move it into the future, and I'll talk about the industry, what I see happening, and I've got a better track record for forecasting than virtually any future caster in the business. I'm in the 90s of percentages. Frank Lopes always talks about that. So I'm going to talk about where I see the car business going in the next 2 years. What I see working, what I see not working. What I see is false and what I see is true. Because there's a lot of false prophets in the car business that are saying it's going to go this way. No, it's not. You're doing that for your own personal profit, and I've exposed a lot of them through the years, as you well know. That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go the shape of things to come. I'm going to do my.
That sounds a little feisty. That sounds a little fierce, as Lily would say.
I get a little feisty.
Sounds a little fierce.
I've been sort of like known to say what's on my mind.
Sure, of course.
And so have you. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, Jim.
I've got your phone number on the screen right now, and they can text you. And I suggest that if you need BDC work, you need video work, you need bomb personalized video.
Yeah.
This is the queen right here. That's the queen, right? Let's see, which way does it go? There.
I think it's, there you go.
There she is. That's the queen. That, if you want bomb video, it's reasonable. She offers training on how to use it. I mean, how to get video is 4-dimensional.
Yeah.
So anyway, people have had us for over an hour and 15 minutes now. We've been in a while. Yes.
Well, I'm excited to see you in Atlanta. I'm excited to see everybody that's coming to Atlanta. And Battle Plan, I've always said it. Battle Plan is not just an amazing, good, like the best conference, right? But it always has like just a real special place from us. That's how that is like, boom, that is how this started. So
I remember when we had that first speakers dinner in Vegas. Remember that?
Yeah, the sushi.
Remember that?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep, the sushi.
Yeah, we had the sushi restaurant, and then we had the one in New Jersey where we found that little restaurant, and
Yep.
Roy Vaden was with
Laura
us.
Vaden was there. Yep, that was the day I remember. I remember that one. Jason Grace.
Yeah, well, Roy Vaden just won the most coveted award in the Speakers Association, one I have not won. The
Yeah.
CPAE, Certified Professional Peer, something I forget. CPAE is the ultimate speaking award. I am a CSP, a Certified Speaking Professional. That's the highest earned award. But that CPAE is the highest professional popularity award, and he just won that.
Wow. Yeah,
Really
he was.
great
He
honor.
was. I mean, you got to look at that too. He's been sharpening his axe, and that was 6, 7, 8 years ago, a while ago. So I can imagine.
Park Ridge, New Jersey.
Yeah, he was great then. He had me like I remember his HBO line that he opened it up with, and I was like, oh, that's good, that's good. So yeah.
Rory has one line he uses in his books and all everything. He's published it a lot. If you suck in person, you'll suck online.
Yeah, right. That's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. People, I hope that people are in the car business if they're in sales or BDC. And sometimes, like, I hope they have a personality, because if you don't have a personality in real life, like getting a personality on vid, it's the same concept, right? That's a good one. I gotta tag him in that one again. That's totally relatable.
If you suck in real life, you'll suck online.
Some people are gonna take that offensive, though. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I got to be careful. I'm such a I've definitely come out of my shell a lot more, but you still got the upper hand on the
still
bluntness.
Got that shy little girl inside of you. Okay, I'll tell you. That goes back to the Ziegler line. I was in a 20 group when I first made it up, and the guy said, "Well, my dealership's average." I said, "Yeah."
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, average is the exact point where sucks start.
Write it down, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is.
Average is
Say it again.
Point, the beginning of sucks. If you are average, you are the leader of the sucks.
That's
Why
the
would
best.
they want to be average?
Right.
Hey, we got to get off this broadcast. We've been on a while. Everybody,
thank you.
There's Elise's number, www.internetbattleplan.com. Join us. Dealers, general managers, no charge. Come.
Dang. Yeah, you guys got to be there. I'm so excited for this. And I'll see you in Atlanta.
We're off.